Hi everyone, I hope that you're doing great. I'm on fire as usual. In a previous video we have seen the guard statement in Swift. This time we're going to see the differ statement which accompanies the guard statement. So let's jump right into it. Okay, here we are in a sample project, as you can see here in our Visual Studio Code editor. What we have here is a function that does something, which is called do something. It guards a certain the result of a certain function, open resource. So this is a fictive example, so it's just to understand the usage of differ. So let's suppose we have a method or a function that opens a resource that needs to be cleaned or freed at the end of the method or the function. In that case, so what we should do in Swift is guard the opening of the resource, so it should return true or not fail. If it fails, we do the stuff for a failure, we handle the failure, and then we close the resource. In case of success, we do the processing for success, and we close the resource again. Or not again, but we write again close resource. So the resource is closed once, either here or here, but we see that we repeat the same code twice. This is one drawback for guard statement, is that the cleanup code is repeated in success and failure case. We don't have this in if-else statement because we just put it at the end of the outside the if block, if-else block. But nevertheless, we can stay with guard, we can remain with guard statement, which is really cleaner, much more cleaner than if-else with regard to indentation and clarity. So there is this statement which is called differ. We can write it like this, and generally you can put it at the beginning or at the beginning of your block, and here or after you retrieve the reference to the resource. And here in differ, what we do is we write what it has to be done at the end of the block. So at the end of the parent scope or block. So here we have this scope. What we want to do at the end of this scope? We want to close the resource, whether we success or fail. So we can remove this. We can remove this. I forgot to write definition here. Print closed. So we have two fictive methods: open resource, close resource. So in that case, open resource always succeeds. Close resource just prints closed. And here we have a much more clean code where closed resource is put in a differ statement. We don't need to write it anywhere outside this differ block, and it will be called whether we succeed or fail. So let's test this to have a better understanding. So we call do something. So just rename it to the correct name. So we call do something, which should return true. So we should print finished, and we'll see whether closed will be called or not. Okay, let's run this. As you can see here, you see that it's written finished and closed. So the resource, if it's closing, if it really closes something, it will be called. Let's try again now by changing to false. So in that case, in this case, we will fail here. We'll fail the guard, so we should print failed. We'll see if we print closed or not. Let's try again. And yes, indeed, we have failed. So have printed failed, and the program printed closed. So the close resource will always be called whenever we leave the scope. And I have another example here to show you that differ works you don't need to use guard statements. It works with guard. It accompanies guard statements. But when you have a block that you want to put the cleanup in the beginning of the block or somewhere in the block, you can use differ. It's also a way to put the cleanup code in a specific place. So here we have a function called call block, which just takes lambda expression or a method as parameter and calls it. And here, so we call this method call block, and here is the code that we pass into it, the lambda expression or the method that we pass to it. So here we print start block, end of block, and we print finished block. So we'll see in which order they will be called. So let me just comment this part. Let's see in which order. I'll let you guess, and let's run it. So indeed we have start of block here, end of block here, and finished block. So differ works. It's a simple principle. At the end of the scope or block, the differ block is called. Okay, here we go. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something new. So thanks for watching and see you later. Bye bye. Happy coding.